Welcome into Moving the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside John Epps here for our Week 1 preview show, John. They say the biggest change, I guess, in a team comes from Game 1 to Game 2, man, and I'm looking forward to it. We saw a little bit of sloppy play last week. Looking forward to getting everybody out on the field this week and just seeing some teams really take a next step and seeing some good football on Friday.
Yeah, and there were some teams that brought their A game. I watched the Northwestern Spartanburg game, and Northwestern drop-off's not too big. They played really well.
Might not have a B game. They may be all A all the time. I don't know, but they certainly did look good last week. As always, guys, be sure to follow us on Facebook, on Twitter/X, on Instagram, on YouTube, and more at Movin Chains. That's MOVINCHAINS. Our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. We do our weekly preview show about 7:15 on Tuesday nights here on Facebook and YouTube. Love to have you join that, comment, pick your favorites, whatever you want to do. Come interact with us. It's a lot of fun. We have interviews throughout the week with different coaches and players. We have our weekly pick'em, our teams of the week, games of the week, players of the week. Lots of great content all the time rolling voice. Hopefully you guys will follow us on all platforms and engage with us and really check out what we've got coming out for you. If you would as well, please support the boys. Get some Moving the Chains merch. Some great stuff right now, some great hats, a great Richardson hat. We got other designs as well. They're all posted on our social media page. You can get the great hat now. The great toboggans, a black, a gray, whatever you like. This is a really good item for those cold November, December games. Moving the Chains stickers right now. Order one for your laptop, for your Yeti cup, for your car, whatever you want to do. Get you a sticker. You can email us. You can DM us. You can message us, whatever you want to do. Send us a note. We'll get it taken care of. info@movinchains.com is that email. You can reach us there or any of our social platforms. Feel free to DM us on that, as well as hoodies, John. Gray hoodies, white hoodies. Couple different options there, along with some T-shirts, a black T-shirt, gray T-shirt, pink T-shirt, and navy blue. Get you your stuff to support the boys. And it's good-looking merch, too, John. It's not like, cheap stuff. It's solid apparel out there for sure.
Yeah, it feels great. The shirts feel good. The hoodie feels good. And I like my woolly cap, too.
Yeah, for sure. So support us. Order yours now. Email us, info@movinchains.com, or DM us on all social platforms. We'll get you taken care of there. We will make it happen. Jerel, anybody we need to shout out before we get rolling here with the CONA games of the week? Bossman says, let's go. What's going on, Bossman? Good to have you in here, man. We appreciate you joining the program. Kev Rohan, glad to have you as always, man. You're right. High school football is back. Anyone else, Jerel? I think we were good to go. Woolly cap.
Yeah.
Jerel sent that one, John.
Woolly cap, beanie,
toboggan, whatever you want to call it, man. That's JD, good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you joining us as always. Dion, let's go. Hey, thank you for being in here, man. Going to be fun to talk some ball here in week 1.
Let's go ahead and hit up these CONA games of the week.
Our CONA games of the week, we got 5 of the biggest games around the state, John. I will say this, week 1, there wasn't a ton of games to pick from this week. It felt like 4 CONA games of the week. Maybe a little bit down overall as far as strength of some of the games that we're having here, but we still do have 5 great ones for you. Let's start with a game that probably could not have many teams farther apart in the state playing in this one, and that's Stratford traveling to take on Daniel. Going to be a long ride there for the Knights up to Central. Stratford actually lost last night, a Monday night ball game, to Summerville 35-30. Look at the wrong notes wrong there. Sorry. Lost on Monday to Summerville 35-30. Quarterback Jakin Davis, running back Malik McGowan, 2 stars for them, both Super 75 players. McGowan, almost 200 yards rushing last night for the Knights there. Daniel, a blanking of Chapman, 43-0. John, we knew this Daniel team was good. I thought Chapman was much improved. Did not show it last week, but a long season still for the Panthers. But Daniel looked really good. Quarterback Jay Scrass, 285, 2 touchdowns. Wide receiver Trey Wembley, 6 for 127 and a touchdown. Ham Scott, also a touchdown. Defensively led by Dexter Johnson, Caden Frooster, Bryson Freeman. The issue I think last night for Stratford, John, was they gave up a lot of big pass plays. And against Daniel, that is not what you want to do.
Yeah, Daniel, if you're weak in the secondary, they are a team that can certainly, in the past, take advantage of that. they seem to always have guys running crisp routes and able to really stretch the field with good quarterback play too.
Yeah, going to be a fun game. I thought that we all picked Daniel last week to win over Chapman. We kind of talked about, they had been through a lot this offseason. How is that going to affect that team? I mean, they could not have looked any crisper last week than what they did. We know they're always known, I felt like, for a high-powered, half-line offense back with the Trent Pierman days, or however far you want to go back, they could put up points on the board. But that defense is that legit. I mean, shutting out a solid Chapman team, that's a real problem for the rest of 4A. And I think that may be what gives them the edge this week over Stratford, because that team, Summerville, great football team. We know that. But they made some big plays, and the Knights can't afford to have that happening in this Friday night.
No, but boy, they played a really, really good football team too. And they went toe-to-toe the entire football game. What Stratford did on the road, tough place to play over in Summerville, a little bit of a rivalry game there too. That's impressive to play a full 48 minutes. And one thing go their way that went Summerville's way, they could win that game. That says a lot to me. I think Stratford's going to pull, maybe we call it an upset. I think Stratford's going to go up and win Friday. I think it's going to be a really close game, but I think Stratford's already cut their teeth on a tough game. And I think Summerville's probably a little better than Daniel. Is the way that I look at it. And they nearly beat Summerville. I think they're going to be ready to go. I think we're going to see a really close game, but I think Stratford's going to pull it out.
Last year, really exciting game. Daniel won 52-36 in that contest. A couple things that I worry about with Stratford. One, you just played on Monday. How much does that affect your preparation, affect your turnaround time? That's a bit of an issue. And also, like I said to start off here, that's a long bus ride on Friday going from Stratford up to Daniel. I mean, that is not an easy trip. That is going to be a tough one to get up and get ready for. And I just worry, too, if you play Summerville, a rival, to start the season, you think you got a really good team, you want to win that ball game, you come up just short. How much does that affect you going into this Friday? I'm going to take Daniel at home. I think that offense is too much. I think Jay Scratch, Trey Wembley, couple big touches. I think they win this game. I do think it's a little bit more high scoring, but I think the Lions win this one at home on Friday. But should be a fun game. Could see some really good offensive firepower between both teams, it seems like.
Absolutely.
Jerel, comments from you or the chat on Stratford at Daniel?
And same thing. I think you guys are both on it. I'm going to break the tie, obviously, because we went opposite ways. But I really like what Stratford did in a losing effort. Playing that Summerville team tough shows how good they are. But I think just the fact that they got to travel so far, the fact that they're playing at Singleton Field, people have mentioned it throughout the comments. Daniel does not lose at home. Like, it is rare that they lose at home. So I'm just going to give them the edge there. I mean, it's going to be 31-30 type game. I think it's going to be very, very close. But whoever wins, I mean, I think it's going to be a nice little feather on the cap and really kind of, kickstart, the rest of that non-region play. So getting to some comments here, guys.
Tyler says, go Red Foxes, big game start against Carolina Forest. Yeah, two teams that didn't play in week 0 getting fired up there, Hartsville and Carolina Forest. Chris says, eat lions, eat. Go, Daniel. Appreciate you jumping in here, Chris. Dion says, Daniel, big. Ooh. Okay, Dion, 42-14. I don't know if it'll be that big. That would be a statement win for sure for Coach Stone and the Lions. Stratford by 7, says Deuce Bryant. Zach says, Daniel never loses at home. Just look at their home record the last 5 seasons. Yeah, that is, they lost to South Point in the playoffs last year. That might be the only one, honestly.
They got smashed.
Might be the only one I can think of at home. So they do play tough there. Daniel by 14, says Vincent. Trey says Stratford 31-24. I could see that type of scoreline for sure. Dion says, right, super tough to beat them at home. Yep, it certainly is.
Yep, that's all we got for comments there. I mean, yeah, it's all over the place. I really think this is going to be a really tight, fun ball game. And not just that, it's going to be tough to get there in general because everybody's going to be swarming that Clemson area to get to the game on Saturday. So
a little extra juice in the upstate this weekend for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Our second CONA game of the week, a game featuring a team that we just kind of mentioned, and that's South Florence traveling to take on Summerville. Both teams at 1-0. Last year, Summerville won this game big, 46-20, really pulled away in that one. The Bruins had a big win over rival Wake Forest, West Florence, 37-6 last Friday. Quarterback Messiah Jackson, running back Cameron James went 15 for 150 and 2 touchdowns. Receivers June Perkins, Malik Robinson, and Samaj Parker. Defensively, Willie Kennedy, Terry Gordon, Warnell Pruitt, and Amari Reeves lead that unit. Summerville, we just mentioned the big win over Stratford, 35-30 last night. Quarterback, I think they have settled on Max Stafford. Came in, played really well last night. A couple nice balls I saw. Running back Javen Williams, he's electric. Took a little swing route about 67 yards to the house last night. Really big-time playmaker for them. Receiver Jaden Kelly Murray offers on both sides of the football, DB and receiver. He's a stud there. And also Teru Davis is another weapon out wide for them. A similar question, for me, John, is to Stratford, is how much does that short week bother Summerville?
Yeah, and I think it's great that it's beginning of the season because these kids were waiting all off season for last week. And now I think the short turnaround, it's never going to be easy, but I think this is the best place to have it. You're still, game one. Hopefully you don't have a whole lot of guys too banged up from that first game. I think this is the best time to have a quick turnaround because you probably don't have a bunch of guys that are hurt. You don't have nagging injuries. And it's still beginning of the season. You still got that big time excitement. You still have all your goals for the season in front of you. I think they're going to be okay in this one. I like Summerville. I like them at home. I like that they won a close game last night against Stratford. I think a lot of those things go in their favor. But I think it's going to be another really good game. South Florence, they're the epitome of solid. I don't see Summerville blowing them out. Maybe not quite like they did last year, but Summerville looks really good again this year too. So it'll be an interesting game to see.
Certainly an advantage for Summerville playing at home. And I'm not sure how this worked out, but South Florence has actually had to go down to Summerville 2 years in a row. So not sure how that contract worked out, but a tough look for the Bruins there. But they last year started out really slow. They're just trying to figure out some pieces there. Lost some big games, Northwestern, Summerville, etc. This year, they feel like they've kind of got some things figured out pretty early. They got the quarterback back, Messiah Jackson. He's been a stud for them. The defense is always solid. The offensive line is always solid. Coach Marlowe is one of the best in the business. I like these backs and these receivers they've got. June Perkins, a transfer from West, looked really good last week. Samaj Parker, he's the next big thing. I think he's a younger kid who's going to be really good for them, along with Cameron James. I think they've got a lot of really talented pieces there. Summerville, they're just so explosive. I think Stafford is a heck of a quarterback, really talented piece there. And that receiver core and running back core of Javen Williams, Jaden Kelly Murray, and Teru Davis can be tough for anybody to match up with. It almost feels like one of these games where we've seen South Florence play, a team like a West Side or a high-flying team past couple years where, hey, we're going to, pound you. We're going to run the ball, grind the clock, and we're just going to try to, outwill you to win at the end. And that might be the similar type matchup this week. And I think like you said, I think we're in for a much closer game than last year. I think, South Florence probably has a little revenge on their mind after getting beat so bad like that. But tough place to go win down to John McKissick down there. I'm going to take the Green Wave in a close one here. I think Stafford to Jaden Kelly Murray, one too many times. I think they win this one, but very tight here. Two teams I expect to make big runs this year in 4A and 5A respectively. Jerel, comments from you or the chat on this Summerville South Florence game?
I think we got a sweep here. I'm going to go Summerville as well. I think they win this game, but I think it'll be a lot closer. Obviously, it wouldn't be a game of the week if we didn't think that was going to be the case. So super excited to see. Like you said, man, I think Jaden Kelly Murray is one of my favorite players in the entire state. He's just so explosive.
Say the nickname, Jerel.
Hey, the landlord. We got another landlord that we're going to talk about at Lose.
There's only one landlord. Come on now.
But it's the landlord there. Jaden Kelly Murray gets it done. But should be a fantastic football game between these two. So, and then South Florence, like you said, I think that's the only way they can win the game. They can, kind of grind it out, slow the pace down.
Which is what they're known for. I mean, they do that.
They don't even have to do that. I mean, even that state title game, they let Westside have their way with explosive plays, but they were able to take enough clock off and win the game. So
they play their game.
Exactly. They got to play their game to win it, but should be a fantastic matchup. Let's jump into a few comments here.
Zach, chance to be a game of the year type of game. Yes, I mean, two big-time programs, two big-time teams. Should be really fun down there in the low country. 28-21 South Florence, says Dion. Deuce says Summerville 35-21. Jaden Kelly Murray, 3 touchdowns. It could happen. I mean, he is that good of a player. Vincent says Summerville by 10.
I like that.
And going back, our boy Nathan is coming back.
Daniel has lost 3 at home since 2018. Only lost by 14 last year due to an all-time rushing record. Even already 10 times better than last year. Honestly, Nathan, I would have thought it had been less than 3 times, just from what I think about following that team. But I guess 2018, that is 7 years ago now. So they
ran all. Daniel couldn't stop them though. That was what was. And I've never seen that before. Never seen it. Never seen anybody do that to Daniel.
Yeah, should be a fun one.
Let's go to the next one, guys.
Our third CONA game of the week. 2 5A powers here. Irmo traveling to Nixon Field to take on the Byrnes Rebels. Both programs 1-0. Last year, a thriller. Irmo won 35-27 down at WC Hawkins. Irmo, a 35-28 win over Oceanside last week. Byrnes, 30-10 demolishing of TL Hanna. For the Yellow Jackets, still working 2 quarterbacks, Dre Dobson, Burton Davis. Dobson did have 3 touchdown passes last week. Seems like he may have a bit of a lead in the contest. We shall see there. Amir White at running back is special. Receivers Malik Miller and sophomore Demarion Arrington had 3 touchdown catches last week, helped them win that ball game. Offensive lineman Nate Carson's a big-time prospect. The defense led by the defensive front with Major Taylor and Jaden Bryant. Really tough up front there. Byrnes, quarterback Kane Rogers, running backs Trey Segura and Jacoby Fuller both had touchdowns last week. Receiver Chew Harris had a long one as well. Defensively, you got Justice Hopkins, Tyler Clark, and Cole Searfrost for the Rebels. John Byrnes, last week we talked about it in the previous show, had to open up Nixon with the win. They did so, and, man, they won convincingly. That was a really impressive win by that Rebels group. What do they have for the Yellow Jackets this week, you think?
I tell you what, I'd be worried if I'm Irmo, because I did not expect Byrnes to win like they did. I was expecting like a 14-10 type win. We saw some inconsistency with the Byrnes as a team last year, especially offensively. And we know, one, TL Hanna plays pretty good defense, and the way they play offense, they don't leave you a whole lot of time with the football. And they scored 30 points. I think that's really impressive. I think the Byrnes offense being able to click like they did right out the gate, that tells me a lot. And that's really, really promising for Byrnes fans. Playing at home again, I like Byrnes to win this game. I feel like if you asked me in the preseason, I would have picked Irmo. But after what they did last week against TL Hanna, I mean, I'm a quick believer. I'm on the bandwagon again. I think they're going to win.
They looked really good, man. They certainly did. Irmo, we know it was a close game, but I mean, Oceanside's a good football team. Like, that's a good team that Irmo went down to the Charleston and beat last week. Oceanside's really good. So a big win for Coach Brand's team there. I think both these programs are really, really good. They're both probably top 5A teams, especially in their divisions respectively, if not higher than that. They are both loaded. I'm still a little bit worried about Irmo with the quarterback spot. I don't love the rotating pieces there. I wish you had one guy, but I understand you got to figure it out. I get that. Dobson looked really good, so he's probably has the lead right now for them. And the Arrington and Malik Miller combo out wide was really impressive there. I'm interested to see, the 2 backs of Byrnes, Segura and Fuller against that Irmo front with Bryant and Taylor. I mean, they looked really good up front for Irmo and in the backfield for Byrnes last week. Seeing those guys match up is going to be a lot of fun there, seeing how that goes. I think I've got to lean Byrnes at home. I don't feel good about it. I think this is a really, close matchup. I think 2 really good football teams here. I think Justice Hopkins and Boyds get after the Irmo quarterbacks a little bit more. I think they shut down, the Irmo offense just enough to win this game. I think close one like last year, 35-27, something like that probably feels about right for this game as well.
I think so too.
Jerel, comments from you or the chat on Irmo at Byrnes?
Another sweep here, boys. I think the Rebs going to win this one. Zach mentioned in the comments here that electric atmosphere at the new Nixon Field looks like it was fantastic. Yep. The boys may be heading over there this week. Who knows? Could be a potential game that we get to. But I like this matchup. I think it's going to be close. My X factor here is the trigger man for both teams. I feel like whoever plays better at the quarterback spot is probably going to win this game. I think it's pretty even on paper when it comes to playmakers and defense, especially D lines and things like that. So I think it's going to be close, but I'm leaning Byrnes, home field advantage. A lot of energy and atmosphere coming out of that program right now, and it's tough to win on the road. So I'm going to go with the Rebels here too.
I like it. I think a fun matchup too. Chew Harris, Jamar Grissett, the defensive back for Irmo against the receiver for Byrnes. Should be a lot of fun to watch those two get after it as well. Yeah, Zach said Nixon Field atmosphere going to be a problem for visiting teams. Man, it looked really good. It certainly did. Dion says 20-17 Byrnes. Dion, then can Byrnes defend the pass? Hannah triple that off defense spread. Great point. And we haven't seen it yet. We don't, but Byrnes always tends to have athletes on the back end. It feels like. I think they'll be okay there, but we will certainly get a better feel for it this Friday. Byrnes by 7, says Vincent. Nathan says Byrnes go 2-0, and then the Yellow Jacket stretch was continuous Greer next week. Yeah, three Yellow Jackets in a row. Great point there, Nathan. That'll be a lot of fun there. A neat little quirky stat.
That's it for the comments on this one. Let's roll to the next game, guys.
Our fourth CONA game of the week, Jerel and John, a really neat matchup down here in the CSRA area. And that's Silver Bluff, the Bulldogs at 1-0, traveling down to the Peach Fields, taking on the 1-0 Strom Thurmond Rebels. Last year, the Rebels destroyed them 33-12 last week. Silver Bluff, a big 34-31 win over South Aiken. Strom Thurmond, 55-6 over McCormick. Silver Bluff, quarterback Trellis Riley, running back Draylen Brown went 9 for 118 and 3 touchdowns. Dorian Jones, also playmaker defensively, Jordan Givens and Keaden Williams. Strom Thurmond, quarterback Brashawn Lee, 3 touchdowns. Lots of different guys can carry the football for them. They got Deontay Phillips, Mathis, Wigfall, Rouse. Receivers, Shaheed Wallace, 2 touchdowns, and Caleb Simpkins, the defensive back receiver, is electric playmaker for them as well. Defensively, Bryson Coleman, Braylon Searles, and Simpkins are big-time players for them on that side of football. This is a 3A, 2A matchup, John, that I'm really looking forward to. I think, Silver Bluff, we didn't know what to make of that team coming into this season. And still not 100% sure. They looked really good last week in a big win over South Aiken.
Yeah, they did. They got a little revenge. I know this is their opener last year too that they lost. So that we thought, hey, the Silver Bluff team, they're not going to be down long. It looks like maybe already here after week 0, they've improved from what they were last year. I think this is a Silver Bluff team that's going to be very competitive in this game. But I still like Strom Thurmond, and they're at home. Going to the Peach Fields and winning is awfully, awfully difficult. Those fans, they're on here. They're going to be riled up and pumped up for that game. I think it's going to be a really tough environment for the Bulldogs to come in and win. I think they'll be competitive, but I think the Rebels win this one.
Couple notes from last week. Silver Bluff had a field goal block. Keep an eye on that. Also gave up some long kickoff returns. And we know that Strom Thurmond has the athletes to do the same thing. I'm with you, John. I'm leaning the Rebels here. I feel like enough playmakers. If you get some guys in space, I think Silver Bluff had a little bit of a tackling issue, it felt like, against that South Aiken team. I think if you get guys in space, the Bulldogs may miss a few tackles here and there. I think Strom Thurmond wins this game at home, but it should be another thriller down there in Edgefield. A fantastic ball game here in week 1. Really looking forward to seeing those groups get after it. Jerel, comments from you or the chat on Silver Bluff and Strom Thurmond?
Should be a lot of fun. Talking about environments, that's going to be a lot of fans. They're packing that one up early in the season, so it should be a very good one. I like Thurmond too in this one. I think they're going to be able to do it. We've heard all offseason about how good that defense is. With Silver Bluff, it's a big win, but playing a tight game against South Aiken, we know defense is not South Aiken's calling card. So I think that's where I'm going to lean Thurmond in this one. I think their defense is a little bit better, and obviously playing at home with that environment is going to be a lot of fun.
Comments from the chat on that one, Jerel. Dion says Rebels by 14. Deuce says Rebels by 14 as well, 28-14. This is the game. Yeah, it's a big one, Deuce. I think that's a really exciting one. I think we'll learn a lot more about both teams. I think teams that, I think that Strom Thurmond's really good. Silver Bluff's still kind of I'm on edge about. So I'll learn a lot about both. Dion says Strom Thurmond ain't South Aiken. That's certainly true on that side of the football. Zach says Peach Fields will be lining up the new light show Very cool. Very cool. Great point there, Zach. I did not know about that.
Cool.
35-14, says Dion. Strom Thurmond by 21, says Boss Man. Thurmond by 2 touchdowns, says Vincent. A lot of Rebels picks in here tonight. Fried bologna sandwich hits different. I got to ask Jerel about that one. Jerel had that last year, Zach. He certainly can comment on the fried bologna. Chris, good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you being in here as always.
Yes, the fried bologna does hit different down there. Make sure you pick one of those up before they run out. They do it right down there, but should be a lot of fun. A lot of Thurmond fans picking them to win this game as they should, and it should be like I said, a lot of fun down there. And we got a producer's note. We got to make sure that we don't pick mascots, the same mascots in back-to-back games of the week next time. Ooh, Rebels throwing me off.
Yeah,
good call there, Drew.
It's a Rebel night.
Our 5th CONA game of the week, our SCISA game of the week. 2 1-0 groups here, John. Laurence Manning traveling to Heathwood Hall. Last year, Laurence Manning won a close one, 30-28. Laurence Manning, a big one over John Paul II, 37-0 last week. Heathwood Hall beat Hannah Pamplico 14-10. What do you like in this matchup, John? 2 teams that I think we have high expectations for in the SCISA ranks this year.
Yeah, I think it's pretty 2 evenly matched teams coming into here. I like Heathwood Hall at home. I think it's really something when a SCISA school plays a SCHL school and beats them. They did that with Hannah Pamplico. A Hannah Pamplico team that I think is pretty dangerous. And beat them like they hold them to 10 points. Pretty impressive. I like Heathwood Hall at home. I think they're going to get the win.
Laurence Manning quarterback Granger Powell, 12 for 15, 309, 3 touchdowns last week. Great name here, wide receiver Scoop Dennis, 4 for 121, 2 touchdowns, and a pick 6 last week. Defensively, Rob Briggs, Pearson Gamble, Asher Sanders helped hold John Paul II to 125 total yards and force 3 turnovers. On the Heathwood Hall side, quarterback Patrick Belt, Jackson Noble, Chip Ravenel on offense. Defensively, Hayward Belzer had 19 tackles, and then DB Julian Hughes, 9 tackles, a TFL, a forced fumble, a PBU, and ran for 90 yards. Here's what worries me about LMA, John. Last week, over 100 yards in penalties for the Swamp Cats. I know it's just week 0. You probably clean a lot of that up, but still, that is a lot to clean up there. I'm going to go Heathwood Hall at home as well. I think Coach Zimmerman and the boys get to 2-0 in this big-time SCISA matchup. Jerel, who do you like in LMA and Heathwood Hall on Friday?
Same, another sweep. I hate it. We're doing it again.
A lot of sweeps this week. I don't like it. A lot of sweeps.
I don't like it. It's early in the year. We don't really know as much about the teams yet. Give me like week 4. I'll be picking against you guys.
We're getting set up to get put on the TV by doing this.
Well, Daniel's probably already put me in one.
Yeah, we haven't hedged a single bet tonight. So, yeah, I like Heathwood Hall again, playing at home. LMA, I mean, can they take a step from last year? How big of a step have they made? I know only one game in, but I like Heathwood so far.
Perfect. Well, Jerel, any comments from the chat we need to look at? If not, let's give a shout out to some friends of the program before we start looking down at the 5A and 4A ranks. Chris, good to see you, buddy. Thank you for joining us as always. I'm excited to get the Batesburg-Leesville boys rolling this week. Zach says, is this a former Thurmond coach going to play Thurmond? Yes, Matt Hayes from Silver Bluff was coaching at Strom Thurmond. Yep, great point there, Deuce. He will be back at the Peach Fields. Heathwood by 21, says Vincent. I don't know if I have to say that, Vincent, but we all do like the Highlanders to win that one.
Let's shout out some friends of the program, guys.
Perfect.
Founders Federal Credit Union means banking made for you. The on the go, the pick up and go, and the I want to go. Because at Founders, we give you the financial tools that make every dollar work for you. For the little things to the big things. For your future and your peace of mind. We'll always stay grounded in our roots, but reaching beyond what you'd expect is where we'll always go. Find out what our members already know and enjoy a new way to bank. Relax, you're with Founders.
With 3 convenient locations in Spartanburg, Duncan, and Greenville, Carolina Orthopaedic and Neurosurgical Associates, CONA, offers the most advanced training and experience in orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery, sports medicine, and pain management in the upstate. Go to CONA.care to learn more.
John, let's take a look down at the 5A slate now and go through those football games and make some comments as we see fit.
Yeah, so we mentioned this game earlier. Carolina Forest and Hartsville playing their first game down in Conway Friday night.
This game was actually a tie last year. I think had some weather issues, ended up tying like 27-all, something like that. Two teams that I think have, pretty good offenses, have to, a couple pieces they have to find a way to fit in there for Hartsville, especially. Got some new faces there, Ford Wallace and whatnot. But I do like some guys they have coming back for them. Not Kylan Griffin. That's the Clemson player. Kyleth Moore, I think is his name there. Carolina Forest, obviously. Jaron Fox at running back's a stud. Going to be a fun game to keep up with on Friday.
Yeah, and then we've got Berkeley is going to be hosting Winter Park out of Central Florida. That'll be a big-time game for the Stags. Yeah,
Berkeley, another short week. They beat Ashley Ridge last night. I don't know if you guys saw the post-game clip. Coach Lodge, he stood on business, you could say. Said this is a game against a game of recruitment, a game of program and development against recruitment, talking about them playing Ashley Ridge. So if you want to go see that, I butchered the quote. I apologize, Coach Lodge. But it was great to see him stand up for his boys there after that big win over Ashley Ridge.
In the Midlands, we got AC Flora hosting Chapin, an AC Flora team that you and I, Kevin, took a look at on Thursday. Got a very good-looking offense to the Falcons. I expect them to have a pretty good year this year if they keep doing that.
Definitely some high-flying pieces with Batet and Winsky and Bird. Chapin blanked by Catawba Ridge last week. Bit of a surprise there. So I think AC Flora has to be the favorite in this one, but should be an interesting matchup there.
Two teams looking for their first win. Dillon hosting Socastee. We'll have, as we mentioned, one of our CONA games of the week, Stratford taking the big trip up to Daniel. We've got Lakewood hosting Westwood. Sumter at home against White Knoll. White Knoll, I was surprised that Camden controlled that game like they did, beating the Timberwolves. Bad news. Sumter's going to be tough.
Yeah.
We've got a Rock Hill rivalry here. Newer rivalry. Rock Hill and South Point. Rock Hill team with a lot of promise. South Point looking for their first win.
Rock Hill, one of our teams of the week, a big win over River Bluff last week. A score line that was probably, really a little closer than what the game actually was. They had a big lead in that one for Coach Bulwer. They looked really good, the Bearcats did. South Point, they took a loss on Friday up at Bank of America Stadium in the Keep Pounding Classic to Huff, 14-10. Really intrigued by South Point, see what they do on offense this week. Cam McMillan, they pulled him in half, went with Jazavian Currents, the quarterback the second half there, the do-everything player for them. I don't know what they're going to do this week offensively. You feel like it's probably a spot where they need to get McMillan back in there at the quarterback spot. I feel like that's probably your best bet, but we shall see. They've got tons of talent all over the field, so they will be explosive one way or the other, it feels like. But it'll be a fun game over at the Corral. Rock Hill, I think, is a little better than we thought they were. And South Point, like I said, looking for that first win on Friday.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting game for sure. Another one of our CONA games of the week, Summerville hosting South Florence. We've got Seneca at home against Woodmont. Lexington will be hosting North Augusta. Wade Hampton is at home against Blue Ridge. Blythewood on the road against Midland Valley.
Two teams with nice wins last week. Blythewood went up and took down Nation Ford, spoiled Coach Bentley's in the first game there. Midland Valley had a Saturday matchup with JL Man, hammered them. Xavier Jeter, one of our players of the week, had a huge game for them. Coach Dorn's bunch looks like the real deal this year. I think they will beat Blythewood. Should be a fun game, but I like this Mustangs team this year.
Yeah, that was a really impressive win last week. We have Wren taking on Easley. That will be at Wren. St. James at home against Ainer. Laurence will travel to Conway. Greenwood at home against Beaufort.
New field house, I think, opening up for Greenwood this week. They've got a great facility down there at the BAB already. And then Beaufort head coach Bryce Libran, a Greenwood graduate. So fun to see him come back up here and get to play that game there. Greenwood did not play last week. Beaufort lost last night to Fort Dorchester on a Monday. I think the long bus ride plus the short week, I think Greenwood wins this game at home.
I think so too. Greenwood, a team that was a big surprise last year, had a really good season. We got the Kershaw County rivalry game. Camden will be hosting Lugoff Elgin. Lugoff with a nice win against Lower Richland last weekend. Camden, an even better win against a White Knoll team that I'm high on. I think Camden wins this game pretty easily. But I said this in our preseason show. This would be a good barometer for Lugoff Elgin to see where the program is currently.
I was really impressed with Shamil Sadiq, a big-time playmaker for Lugoff Elgin. Had a couple really big touchdown catches for them last week in their win over Lower Richland. Camden looked the part as well. Grayson Remp, Tylen Drakeford, and boys are always going to be tough there for Coach Remp. Should be a fun matchup, John. I know this has not really gone the way of the Demons the last couple of years. I don't know if it will this year or not, but I think it'd be a closer matchup than some we have seen in the recent memory for sure.
I think so, too. I'm hoping we stay away from the double nickels. Another one of our CONA games of the week up in Nixon Field. We got Irmo going to Byrnes. Indianland will be at Lancaster. Ashley Ridge hosting Cane Bay. We got Philip Simmons on the road against Lucy Beckham. Dorman hosting Catawba Ridge.
That's a sneaky good game there. Dorman, a big win over Greenville. Nick Means, 3 touchdown runs for them, for Coach Morris's bunch. Catawba Ridge, like I mentioned earlier, shut out Chapin. Josh Dobson, defensive back, stud player for Coach Lindak there. I think these are two teams that could be really good this year. And I just want to see this game will tell us a lot about who is actually going to be poised for a deep run. I think these are two above average football teams getting together on Friday night.
Yeah, it will be very fun to find out what happens in this game Friday. A game that we went to last year that was a thriller, went to overtime. Gaffney hosting JL Mann at the reservation. I don't know that this edition is going to be as close. I think JL Mann would not what I thought they would be kick off the season.
Two teams that lost last week. JL Mann had to move their game to Saturday. They took the loss in Midland Valley. Did not play great in that matchup there for Coach Smiley. Gaffney, they welcomed Independence and lost by 7 to them. Gaffney, you lose running back Jaden McDowell. He's out for the year now with a knee injury. Hate to see that. A guy that had so much potential and just felt like couldn't quite stay on the field the last couple of years, which really stunk for him. The quarterback spot, they kind of got that rotating right now with Javon Gilmore and Banks Boughton. A lot of questions to be answered there for Gaffney, I feel like, still. And I think they're the better football team. I think they do win this game over JL Mann. But I'm really intrigued to see how Gaffney plays coming off of that loss last week.
Yeah, they certainly have some things to get in order from a personnel standpoint. Malden will be hosting Bowling Springs. We've got Hanahan at home against Wando. Fort Dorchester hosting Goose Creek. Myrtle Beach is on the road against West Florence. Big time game here, Northwestern hosting Ridgeview. Two teams that are in the media top 10 poll. Northwestern just a monster. I watched the game with Spartanburg. They're good. They're good again. That defense is good, and that offensive line is really good.
They really are. And Ridgeview is a good football team too. They got quarterback Trey Howard, all the playmakers, Christian Jackson, Carter Coleman, Jordan Best, Jordan Mack. But I think Northwestern is just a different level from a lot of these teams right now. They are playing that good of football. Quay Mobley, 3 rushing touchdowns last week. We were worried about who's going to run the ball. Said, hey, I'll score 3 times. No big deal, whatever. Defense looked great with Tamarian Watkins there. I think Northwestern is really, really good again, John. I think they win this football game, but I do like Ridgeview as well. I don't think they're quite as good as the Trojans right now.
Yeah, I could have had a good game at running back with Northwestern last week. That offensive line, they were road papers.
We're saying.
They were great. York will be going to Nation Ford. Both of those teams looking for their first win. Greenville on the road against Riverside. James Island hosting Hilton Head.
James Island, a big win over Gray Collegiate last night, a Monday night game as well. Really impressive stuff. The defense, John, showed up as we know it always does for the Trojans there. Coach McCoy's bunch is tough at home especially. I think they win another one over on the island against Hilton Head over at the Cage.
I think so. James Island, this could be another year where not enough people are talking about them. We're going to keep talking about them, though.
Yeah.
Eastside, they'll be on the road against Carolina Academy. It's Carolina High and Academy. It's listed as Carolina Academy on Max Prep, so if you see that, it's not a private school. Spartanburg, tough matchup with Northwestern last week. It doesn't get any easier. They go on the road to Irmo and will play Dutch Fork for Dutch Fork's opener this season.
Spartanburg had some injury issues last week. The quarterback didn't play. Had some other guys out as well. Still, it doesn't get much better this week. Like I said, I don't know if these guys are back is the other problem, too. I'm not sure who's back for them. But I think Dutch Fork, game 1, they may have a couple, a little bit of rust shake off at the beginning. I think they're better. The better football team in this one. Dutch Fork, I like what they've got. Tons of talent, offense and defense. The new running back, Cole Martin's a guy to keep an eye on, to transfer in. He's a stud for them. Appreciate the Silver Foxes and Blue Marble group for putting us in their hype video again this year. We appreciate that. That was really cool to see the other day when that came out. But, yeah, I think Dutch Fork, they played some tight ones with Spartanburg the last couple of years. I think this year, they beat them by a couple of scores. I like the Silver Foxes in this one. Dion says about 35. I don't know if I'd say that much, Dion, but I do like Dutch Fork to win this football game.
Tell you what, I do like that Spartanburg running back, though. Number 40.
Lynch is a stud, yeah.
He can move. He put on some good moves. Put a little move on Tamarian Watkins in that ball game. Put a little move on him, then broke a tackle. Really good player they've got. Darlington will be at North Myrtle Beach. We've got Brooklyn Casey hosting River Bluff. Hillcrest on the road against Clover. May River will be hosting West Ashley. Lower Richland at home against Spring Valley. And
shout out Spring Valley. Valley. Ending their long losing streak, beating their rival Richland Northeast last week for Coach Norman Washington. A game, I think it was single or double overtime. I can't remember how many it went to, but, awesome win for them. They were down in that ball game, came back, and just, I don't know if you guys saw the videos. I think Lou Bajak had a bunch of them on Twitter of them celebrating the win. A program that hasn't won in 2 years. I mean, an alum coming home to be the head coach, you could see the excitement in that team, in that coach, and it was just great to see how pumped up those kids were, man. A great atmosphere over there and a great win for Spring Valley last week. They got a chance to go 2-0. I'm just going to put out there, they got a chance to go 2-0 this week, Sean.
Yeah, they got a very good chance. And I tell you what, sometimes you just need a little bit of confidence. You need that one win to get some belief in yourself, belief in your teammates. It can get contagious pretty quick. And then wrapping up 5A, we've got the Chester Cyclones hosting Fort Mill.
Chester kicked their first field goal, I think, in like 4 years, I saw last week. So way to go, Coach Floyd and the boys. I love that. But, Jerel, comments from you or the chat on 5A?
Before we get into the fan comments, I want to ask you guys about, I know we can't talk about every game, but what are your thoughts on Lexington and North Augusta? That was a fantastic football game last year that came down to the wire. What do you think about it this year?
I like North Augusta. I think Lexington with the freshman quarterback, Easton Crocker, year one for Coach Young. I think they're still a little bit away from making a really good playoff run. North Augusta, I like that team. I like Michael Doe at running back. I think he's a stud there. The quarterbacks are still kind of figuring that out. They didn't have to do a lot last week against Thompson, but that's still a solid Thompson team they beat there. I like North Augusta in that one, especially. I think that game's at North Augusta as well. Is that correct, John?
Let's
see.
Remember.
No, it's at Lexington. At Lexington. That gives me a little bit of pause there, but I still do like North Augusta. I think to win that one on Friday.
I do too. I just trust North Augusta right now a little more. Feel like they've got more experience on their sideline.
Yeah, I like Simeon Jones up front on the defensive side for those guys, along with McKinnis. They're a really good group there. Doug going for 125 and 2 touchdowns. That's an off week for him, Dion. Probably go for more than that.
Yeah. What's he going to do in the second half?
Yes. I love it. Other comments, Jerel, from you or the chat. Deuce is Hammond like Dutch Fork a SCISA? Probably more. I think they've won how many in a row? Let me pull it up here for you. They have won 8 straight state titles, Deuce. So, yeah, Hammond they're the big dog in SCISA. Rarely ever play close games in the state title. Maybe that's about it, but outside of that, they don't. Hammond is a really, really good SCISA football team, and they're the cream of the crop for sure over there. Don't sleep on Aiken. Tay, Aiken snapped their 25 game on the
1-0
losing streak. They looked great last week as well. Gaddy and Goings and those guys there. I was really impressed with what we got. Sorry, Paget and Goings from that group. We'll talk about Aiken here in a minute in 4A. They looked really good, Tay. You missed the Peachfields Bulldog. Come on, man. But as you know, when the show's over, you can go back and look at the games of the week. It'll always live there on Facebook and YouTube. You can go back and check it out. Those are our games of the week. Dion says 24-7 North Augusta over Lexington. Chris says Coach Smiley returns home. Yeah, Coach Smiley going back to Gaffney from jail, man. Indians team will be mad. No doubt about that. Going to be tough for the Patriots heading over there. Chris says here in the Spartanburg quarter might not play Friday. If he doesn't play Friday, Dutch Fork might win by 35, like Dion said. That'll be a tough loss for him. Patrick, good to see you. As always, looking forward to that Gaffney jail man game this week. Chris says he thinks Gilmore will play a lot more this week. And obviously we're not at practice, John. We don't know. But from what I saw last year, Javon looked really good. Thought he was a great player there. Certainly can get it done. at the quarterback spot. Josh, what was Spring Valley's losing streak when they won last week?
I think it was 24.
Was it 24? I can't remember how many. I know it was over 2 seasons, I believe. So that might be right.
Pretty sure it's 24, Josh. Giant
says, was the last week surprise Byrnes being handed 30-10? I think we all picked Byrnes to win, but maybe the margin was a bit of a surprise. I was thinking a little bit closer ball game than that, but yeah, the Rebels certainly looked apart. It looked really good on Friday.
I'm surprised they put up 30 points too. I thought that was a lot.
Yeah.
Let's keep it rolling, guys.
Looking at 4A now, John.
Yeah, we got Dreer on the road against Cardinal Newman. Walhalla will go to Pickens. We've got Bluffton hosting Andrew Jackson. Emerald on the road against Travelers Rest.
Those 2 things. Emerald, big win last week over 96, shut out a solid 96 team. And then if you want to see points, go watch Bluffton. They will light up the scoreboard. Aiden McCarthy, Carnell Warren, Amari Patterson, those guys, they can light it up for sure.
Devil Dogs, huge win over Wade Hampton, too. Can't forget to shout those boys out.
You know, Jerel, you can't go 10-0 if you don't go 1-0. So big win for TR last week. Great start for the boys.
Undefeated. Blue and gold on today for my boys. Blue and gold, baby.
Great start for the Devil Dogs.
We've got another undefeated team, the Aiken Hornets. They'll be hosting Airport.
You know, Aiken, a team that lost to Ainer last year, go on the road this year. Take those boys down, man. Great win for Coach Hibbett's bunch, quarterback Tanner Padgett. The defensive line with Jay Merriweather, he played really well for them. Gray Kitchens at the linebacker spot was a stud. That Aiken team, I think, is actually pretty solid. And we'll get this in a little bit, but you'll hear a common theme tonight, John, that a lot of these Aiken County teams played really well last week. We'll keep shouting them out as we go through, but a lot of them played great football, and the Hornets certainly did as well. Hats off to those guys getting a win. I think they've got a good shot to go to 2-0 this week over Airport, a team that did not look great against May River.
Talking about staying on the Aiken train, we got South Aiken hosting Lakeside out of Georgia. South Aiken team lost a close game last week.
Mm-hmm.
Got May River at home against West Ashley. Bishop England will be hosting St. John's. Southside at home against Liberty. We've got Landrum hosting Berea. Woodland at home against Colleton County. Woodruff hosting Fountain Inn.
A fun game there. A game I think that came down to the wire last season, I believe. I got to see this Woodruff bunch last weekend. Nice win over Clinton. They've got a ton of talent still. Corey Moats, Cam Taylor, Aiden Gibson, Sean Graybill. Lots of really good players. The quarterback Connor Davis looks solid as well. Yeah, he'll get better as time goes on. The offensive line replacement pieces, they'll get better as time goes on as well. I think Woodruff is a really good team in 3A. 4A, Fountain Inn, they looked good as well. Sam Holiday, I like what they're doing with him there. I think Coach Nichols' bunch is in for a big season. I think this will be another thriller like last year. If you're in that area, that'll be a fun game to check out.
Last-second field goal last year.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jerel. Gilbert hosting Wilson. Crestwood will be on the road against Richland Northeast.
A Crestwood team that hammered Manning last week. It looked really good for Coach Nelson.
I was surprised by that. We've got Wade Hampton at home against Blue Ridge.
AJ Lindsay at Blue Ridge, big game for them. He has, been a stud the last couple of years for that group there. Wade Hampton, like we mentioned earlier, tough loss to TR. Some nice pieces there. Freshman quarterback Parker McCrory stepping in, played good football last week for them. Should be a fun matchup over there in Greenville County.
We'll have Clinton going to Laurence, rivalry game there for Laurens County.
I think Clinton gets their first win. Laurence is still a year or two away for Coach Porter, I feel like there. This Clinton bunch, tough one last week, lost by a score to a good Woodruff team. I think Clinton gets a win on the road. Look out for Zy Butler, a kid I really liked last week. Looked really good running the football there for the Red Devils. I think he's in for a big season.
We'll see Belton Honeypath at home against Greer.
BHP, there weren't many teams that looked better than them last week. Smoke Broom really looked good. Greer team that tried to fight back could not quite catch up with Bowling Springs late. I think BHP wins again at home.
North Myrtle Beach hosting Darlington, and that wraps up our 4A slate as well.
Jerel, comments from you or the chat on 4A. Go Camden, says Annika. That's a fun game. Always a rivalry game, Annika. Love seeing the Bulldogs and the Demons get together.
So does Camden.
Marcel says, Big Hornets, we back. Hey, huge win last week. Like I just said to Jerel, you can't win them all if you don't win the first one, Marcel, man. And a great start for that group. Happy for those kids in that community, man. Big win for them. Bradley said he missed the Tribe Talk. Yeah, you can always go back, Bradley, when we get done. You can check it out. It's in the 5A preview here. Talked a little jailman Gaffney. Trying to see how that game shakes out.
I was wondering where Zach was. Oh, no, Midland Valley.
Williams says Midland Valley all day. I think they win again. I mean, they looked really good last week. I like them. Zach says Hell Week is here. Clinton's coming in pissed off after the Woodruff week. I know they should have won that game. I think Clinton wins big over Laurence. I think the Red Devils are a much better football team right now. Aiken might finish second in the region. What do you think about that? I don't know if I'm ready to call that yet, Dion.
We'll do some research.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's in that region.
Maybe a little bit tough to say. So we got Aiken, Airport, Brooklyn, Casey, Gilbert, Gray Collegiate, Midland Valley, North Augusta, South Aiken. I don't think second. Probably not second.
Let's say playoffs. Really good. Let's say playoffs. Let's get there.
A lot of football left to be played, no doubt about it.
All right, guys, let's go down to 3A.
Looking at the 3A ranks now, John.
This has been a really fun annual matchup we've had last few years. Powdersville going to Abbeville. We got Battery Creek going to John Paul II. Georgetown hosting Andrews.
Bit of a rivalry there down in that part of the state.
Newberry at home against Mid-Carolina. Good game here. We got Sherrall at home against Marlboro County.
Yes, Marlboro County, a nice win last week. Sherrall, smoked a MACB team as well. Marlboro County, I've talked about it every week. That defensive line, I love what they've got on that side of the football there for Coach Johnson. Those boys up front are really, really tough there with Jay Nash, Caden Walton, PJ Williams. Offensively, Trey Blakeney is their guy there. I think Marlboro County is going to be a problem on defense for a lot of teams this year. Sherrall, we know their playmakers, Nick Gordon, Justin Joint, Caden Thomas. I think Marlboro may be a little bit bigger and deeper than the Braves, but I think it should be a fun matchup over there in Marlboro County.
It's a Sherrall team that's got some high hopes again, too.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Oceanside, they'll travel to Calvary Day. Believe that's a Georgia squad. And
I believe a good team as well. I want to say they played a really tight ball game last year. This Oceanside team, I watched a good bit of that Irmo game. They looked good. They looked good, man. Monavian at quarterback, we know what he brings to the table. Lots of weapons for them out wide. And the defense, I thought made some nice plays as well when they needed to. I think Oceanside is in for a big run again this year.
We've got Chapman on the road going to St. Joseph's.
Chapman needs to show us something this week, John. This is what we need to see something out of Chapman. Losing to Daniel's okay. Didn't think it would be that big of a spread. Need to see Chapman step up and make some plays this week against St. Joe's.
Certainly do. Dixie on the road against Fox Creek. One of our CONA games of the week that we talked about earlier, Strom Thurmond hosting Silver Bluff. We got Fairfield Central hosting Union. Christchurch will go on the road against the Anderson Cavaliers.
Christchurch, tough loss to Hammond last week, got blanked in that football game. Christchurch kind of gets a get-right game here for Coach Hatfield's bunch to put them on the correct path going forward here.
Pendleton will be hosting Keenan. Cross goes on the road to North Charleston. Denmark Olar at home against Swansea. Crescent will host Palmetto, and Chesney on the road against Broome.
Chesney is a team that I've heard some whispers about. They might be the real deal this year. Coach Chappell's bunch has some playmakers. That they looked good last week in their win. I think they moved to 2-0 with a big win over Broome.
And that wraps it up for 2A.
No,
or 3A,
couple more underneath, Johnny. I got to scroll a bit more here. If not, I got them. We've got Clear Dot Charter taking on West Oak. Hannah Pamplico going to Walkmall, and then Mountain View Prep going to Southside Christian. Mountain View Prep, big win over Atlantic Collegiate last week. Southside Christian took it on the chin to Abbeville. Head coach Guess was out for that ball game for the Sabres. He'll be back this week. So I still think MVP a little too much firepower right now for that Southside Christian program. Jerel, comments from you or the chat on 3A?
Another game that kind of intriguing that I saw you guys going through. What do you guys think about Dixie and Fox Creek? I feel like Fox Creek is an improved team. I think Dixie has played really well. This was a 10-point ball game last year.
Yeah, Fox Creek, I still don't know a ton about, I feel like, yet. We know they brought in a bunch of pieces. They've got some talent there, you feel like. Dixie quarterback Dallas Dotson, I like him a lot. It's always tough for these 1A schools to go up to 3A schools and to be able to compete at the level they need to. I'm probably going to go Fox Creek here because they're the bigger program, but Dixie has the playmakers, but I do like Fox Creek. I think the Predators to win this one.
Yeah, I think so too, but I think Dixie's going to give them all they want. I think it's going to be a 48-minute ball game. I think Dixie's going to be right there. But yeah, I think Fox Creek ultimately wins this one.
Courtney says, what I tell you about the Big Bears? They look good, Courtney. A really good football team and a really big win over Broome last week. Certainly looked like they are back. A-Town 42-28, says Dion. That's Abbeville over Powdersville. He's picking there. Chris says Chesney by 10. I think that Chesney team is the real deal, Chris. I think they win this game, too. I agree with you there. Powdersville at Abbeville, ask Moses. Powdersville, lost to Seneca last week, a high-scoring affair. I thought Powdersville would win that football game. Didn't quite make the stops on defense they needed to there. Abbeville just demolished Southside Christian. They look really good. These two teams have played some really good football games the last couple of years.
Yes.
Really close ones between these two. I think Abbeville at home, a little too much firepower. I think it's a high-scoring game. I think Abbeville maybe makes one more play to win this one on Friday.
I think Abbeville might win by 2 scores.
Wow.
Let's shout out some friends and continue the program, guys.
Let's do it. Then we'll look down at 2A and 1A.
Schedule your sewer drain clearing with Preferred Home Services today. If we can't clear it, it's free.
Electrical, plumbing, cooling too. Go, 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 Preferred!
Everyday life means everyday expenses. Spend smarter with a Founders Federal Credit Union credit card, offering you low rates and big rewards where it matters most. Enjoy all the benefits of saving while using your Founders Essential MasterCard. Make every swipe and tap count with smart rates, big rewards on select cards, and no balance transfer or annual fees. Because your money should go where you want it to. That's the power of Founders Federal Credit Union. Apply today at foundersfcu.com. Relax. You're with Founders.
Let's look at the 2A slate now, John.
Yeah, we've got one game on Thursday night. We'll have Barnwell going to Williston Elko. Like Barnwell to win in that one, of course.
Yeah, Barnwell played last Thursday as well. Beat a solid Blackfield Hilda team at home. I think they're really good. The People's Kid running the ball. The sophomore was really impressive last week. I think the Warhorses get to 2-0 for Coach Smith.
Then we'll have Lakeview hosting Mullins.
This was a crazy game last year. I want to say, Lakeview had a big win. It got delayed, due to lightning for a day. And then Mullins comes back and wins the football game. One of our pick-em matchups here. I think Mullins is pretty good again. Lakeview had a big win over Marion last week to start the season. Will be a fun matchup there down in the PD.
Yeah, that'll be a really fun game there. Hampton County on the road against Allendale Fairfax. Timberland goes to Lake City.
A game that we saw twice last year, I think, in the regular season and in the playoffs. Lake City did not quite put up the showing I thought they would against Myrtle Beach last week. Timberland looked good, a big win. I think it was over Lee Central they had. I think that's always a fun matchup. Two big physical teams there when those guys get together.
Lake Marion hosting Calhoun County, 2 0-1 teams in that matchup. Marion on the road going to Latta. Got Whale Branch at home against Hardyville. Blacksburg will be hosting East Rutherford out of North Carolina.
As always, go South Carolina team in those matchups.
That's right.
We kind of took it on the chin last week, John. We had a hard time with some of those out-of-state games, so hopefully we can try to turn around some of the rest of the season.
We play some good programs, and I respect it. If you're going to go out of state, play a good time, play a good program. American Leadership hosting Camden Military. Kingstree will be at Carver's Bay.
That's a good game there. Tyleek Dukes looked really good for Kingstree last week. Carver's Bay, the big win over Walkamaw, stepping up in class to win that one. I like that Carver's Bay team a lot with Coach Richard. I like the Kingstree team as well with Coach Cantrell there. A fun matchup on Friday. If you're down in that Georgetown area, go check that one out.
Yeah, going to have to take Carver's Bay very seriously if they win Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Saluda goes on the road to Rich Spring Minetta. Lee Central is at home against Burke.
I think Lee Central gets their first win of the season this week. They were in that game with Timberland last week, kind of gave it up late in the second half there. I think LC gets a dub.
Talked about one of our CONA games of the week earlier in the Peachfield. Strom Thurmond hosting Silver Bluff. We've got, McBee going to North Central. We'll have Scotch Branch at home against Manning. Eau Claire goes to Bethune-Bowman. Johnsonville will be hosting Atlantic Collegiate. Academic Magnet hosting a Military Magnet. Batesburg-Leesville kicking off their season at home against Wagner Sally.
a Wagner Sally team that looked really good last week. Big win for Coach Gillespie's bunch. That they looked the part certainly of a 1A contender. I liked what the War Eagles brought to the table there. Zay Capers and that group there. Rayfield Bell had a big game as well against the line for them. But I think Batesburg Leesville, too much firepower. I think Savy Wooden, big game for them. I like the Panthers to win this one.
Me too. Bamberg Earhart at home against Buford. Columbia hosting Pelion. 96 at home against Ware Shoals.
Ware Shoals, big win last week. They looked good against that Blacksburg team. They played some good football there for Coach Dotson.
Chesney goes on the road to Broome. And then East Clarendon will be at home against Ridgeland. We've got Great Falls hosting Chesterfield, both looking for their first win.
A lot of points in that one, I think, is what we're going to get on Friday from what I hear from other folks around the state. Could be a lot of points in that matchup.
Sounds like a good game to go to. Blackville Hilda on the road against Edisto, and Woodland hosting Colleton County.
Jerel, comments from you or the chat on the 2A slate? Hi from Williston. Looks like Wilson Elko have a hard time. Yeah, this Barnwell team's good. They are, Allie. Wilson Elko probably not quite at that level right now. I think the Warhorses do win this one on Thursday, but should be fun to see that one. Blacksburg get a win this week, I hope. I hope so, too. I don't know anything about East Rutherford at all, Chris. No idea, but I do hope the Wildcats win it. Pulling hard for them. Trayvon Clark and boys there for Coach Batchelor. Saluted by 30, says Dion. Did they split Ridgeland and Hardyville? They did. So they were together for a couple years. They have now split again, Chris. We got Ridgeland High School and Hardyville High School back playing separate football this season. Actually, I think it started last season, I believe it was actually.
I feel like we've included a bunch of them. Let's go down to 1A, guys.
Looking at the 1A slate now, John.
Yeah, we'll lead off Calhoun Falls Charter. They'll be hosting now, make sure you take this all in, the Georgia School of Innovation and Classics.
Let's go Calhoun Falls. Let's go Calhoun Falls. Need Coach Diaz's bunch to get a W for us here in that one.
The Georgia squad's 2-0, so you got that. We've got, let's see, as we go on down, McCormick. They'll be going to Lincoln County, Georgia to play Friday night. Another 2-0 Georgia squad. We'll have Hunter Kenner Tyler on the road against an 0-1 Louisville team. Pretty big matchup here. Two teams in the top 10, top 6 in the media poll that came out today.
Yeah, big win last week for HKT. Louisville, a tough loss to Central. Got, I think, blanked in that game. It was a 14-0, John, I believe.
I'm not sure.
Did not look great on offense for Coach Usher's bunch there. 12-0 last week. But they do have a lot of pieces still. I like Jordan Strong, obviously, there for them. If they can get the passing game going, they'll be okay. But I think HKT, they're a team we got to keep an eye on again this year, John. They kind of snug up on us last year for like a little bit. I think they're really good again. I think it's going to be a fantastic 1A football game on Friday night.
Yeah, and if Hunter Kenner Tyler can win this game on Friday, they're not going to be sneaking up on anybody after that. I think it's going to be a really, really good game. I'm going to go Louisville just because they're at home, but I could see HKT. I'm not going to be surprised if they win this game. I think they're a really, really good football team. Expect that to be a good game on Friday night. Also, we'll see Branchville hosting C.A. Johnson. There's some repeats here going through. Lamar going to Green Sea Floyds.
Lamar played tough against a pretty good Darlington team last week. Lost by, I think, less than 10 points there. I think Coach Boyd's bunch goes on the road and gets the first win for him as the head man this week, I think, over Green Sea Floyds.
And then last game in 1A, Whitmire at home against Spartanburg Christian.
Whitmire, really impressive. Big win over Branchville last week. Hammered them. The Wolverines looked like a solid football team for Coach Campbell there. I like what they did, but that was a big win for Whitmire. Any comments from you, Jerel, or the chat on the 1A slate?
Let's go to SCISA, guys. But yeah, another shout out to Whitmire. That was a great win for that program. Yeah,
that was really impressive. Really impressive win by those boys. John, let's take a look at the SCISA slate now.
Yeah, we talked about our CONA game of the week out of SCISA. Heathwood Hall hosting Laurence Manning. Go back to the front of the show. We talk a good bit about that game. We got Northwood Academy on the road to First Baptist. Beaufort will be hosting, or this is Beaufort Academy hosting St. John's Christian. Holly Hill Academy will be at Palmetto Christian. Lee Academy hosting Dillon Christian. Big game here. Pinewood on the road against Hammond. I think we know how that game's going to go, but Pinewood should give them a good test.
Yep, Pinewood ended up not playing last week, had a big matchup scheduled with Northwood, one of our games of the week last week. It got postponed into October, so they'll have an extra week of prep there for Hammond, but I think the Skyhawks are still just too much.
We'll see Christian Academy on the road against Cathedral Academy. Florence Christian will go to Thomas Sumter. Richard Wynn on the road against Newberry Academy. We've got Orangeburg Prep going to Andrew Jackson Academy. Clarendon Hall will be at Patrick Henry. Ben Lippen hosting Trinity Collegiate. Port Gowd on the road to Savannah Country Day. Williamsburg hosting PD. Big game for your Eagles there.
Yeah, always a fun matchup. Two teams that want to make deep runs this year. PD, a big win over Trinity last week. Williamsburg, beat up on Thomas Sumter. Should be a fun matchup over there in Kingstree on Friday night.
Wilson Hall will travel to Northside Christian. Greenwood Christian hosting Calhoun Academy. Laurence Academy on the road against Wardlaw. Bethesda Academy at home against Hilton Head Christian. Colleton Prep will go to Thomas Hayward.
That's a fun one here. Thomas Hayward has not played yet. They got rained out last week. Colleton Prep has looked really good. Cale Owens at quarterback, 10 for 15, 223, 4 touchdowns, plus 68 more on the ground and another touchdown last week. Wolf, Jones, Pierce, Kennard, and Walker all had touchdowns in the big 66-point outing they had last week. I think we'll find out a lot more about them. We know that Thomas Hayward's good with Tony O'Banner, Josh Gibson, and whatnot. I think Thomas Hayward wins this game, but Colleton Prep team to keep an eye on for sure.
And then rounding out SCISA, we got King Academy hosting Orangeburg Christian.
One more comment I did have on SCISA. Buford Academy last week, Nick Underwood, 26 rushes for 366, 4 touchdowns, and a pick 6. Heck of a way to get rolling there for Nick. And I guess what was their second game of the year. I think they win big over St. John's Christian again this week. Jerel, comments from you or the chat on the SCISA slate?
Let's hit our last commercial break and let's wrap the show up for the night, guys.
Let's do it.
Founders Federal Credit Union means banking made for you. The on the go, the pick up and go, and the I want to go. Because at Founders, we give you the financial tools that make every dollar work for you. For the little things to the big things. For your future and your peace of mind. We'll always stay grounded in our roots, but reaching beyond what you'd expect is where we'll always go. Find out what our members already know and enjoy a new way to bank. Relax, you're with Founders.
The George Agency has been serving the insurance needs of South Carolina for over 40 years. They're a full-line insurance agency concentrated in employee benefits and health insurance with an office in Mullins and Murrells Inlet, but they can help you all across the state. They have clients in Greer, Rock Hill, Columbia, and more, so wherever you are, they can help. Give Bradley, Wayne, Richard, and the crew a call or check them out online at thegeorgeagency.net. That's thegeorgeagency.net. If you guys have not joined yet, you need to be a part of our weekly Pick'em we do, brought to you by Hannah Engineering. Last week was a bit of a weird one because we had some games postponed and rescheduled, so we had to wait a while to get all the scores in. But we do now, Jerel, if you want to pop up the week 0 leaders from the Pick'em here, I believe we had a 10 spot from Cameron H. Lots of 9s as well. Andrew, Brad, Brandon, CW, Coach Daddy, Corey, Kyle, Ryan, Shannon, Tim, Trey, and Will. With us, I had 9, John 7, and Jerel 8 here in week 0. Please go join. That's a lot of fun. It's right there on our social media page. You can find it. Click the link. It's easy to do there. It gives you a reason to watch teams outside of your own each and every week. So join that. Appreciate our friends at Hannah Engineering for helping put that together. We'll have our own polls coming out pretty soon here in the next couple weeks. Chris said he stunk it up. Chris, it was a week 0. A lot of things we found out. We don't know yet. A lot of things to be figured out there in the Pick'em, but we'll have our polls coming pretty soon. Our teams of the week from Preferred Home Services, we had Spring Valley, Rock Hill, Aiken, and Carvers Bay. Our players of the week, Kenton Caldwell at Newberry, Andrew Johnson at May River, and Xavier Jeter from Midland Valley. Shout out to George Agency on that one. John and Jerel, I'm glad to have everybody playing this week. You know, last week was a little bit of a light week. You didn't quite have everybody getting after it, man, but I'm excited to have a full slate of action this Friday.
Yeah, there's some teams that didn't get to see play in week 0 that really excited getting to see here in week 1.
Should be a lot of fun. As always, guys, follow us on all social media at Movin Chains. That's MOVINCHAINS. Our weekly preview show, Tuesday nights, 7:15 on Facebook and YouTube. Love having you guys join and talk with us about that. It's a lot of fun. We'll have our coach interviews, player interviews, our food reviews coming out Friday. A lot of great stuff throughout the week on all of our platforms. May do a Friday Night Spaces again if we get that worked out this week. That was a lot of fun last Friday, too. So hopefully you guys continue to follow us on all those platforms. Get your Movin the Chains merch. Support the boys. Get yourself a shirt. We've got black, navy blue, and gray. Big logo on the back, small logo on the pocket over here. Really good stuff. 2 hoodies, a gray hoodie, a white hoodie. Make sure you order it. Support us. Help us make this program better and better. Definitely get some of that now. You can email us. You can send us a DM. Get you a hat, whatever you want. Really good stuff. Toboggans or woolly caps, as John likes to say. We have those as well. And then get the stickers. I mean, get yourself a sticker. Come on, guys. Put it on your laptop. Put it on your water bottle. Put it on your car or whatever. Order a sticker.
On your face.
Put it on your face. Yeah, right there on the forehead. That's fine.
We have plenty of them.
Get you a sticker there. So support the boys. Email us, DM us, whatever you want to do. Order your merch and stuff today. Jerel, any thoughts from you as we wrap up our week 1 show? Where are we going, Chris? Not 100% sure yet. We may look at Byrnes and Irmo, may look at Greenwood and Buford. Don't really know. Kind of up in the air still.
I'm eyeing Louisville
this week. Louisville HKT is a big one to look at as well. Courtney says Big Bears are back. Playmakers everywhere. They looked good on Friday. They certainly did, Courtney. No doubt about that. Nothing for Spring Valley after the first win of 2 seasons. Hey, I think you might have missed it. We shouted out Spring Valley multiple times earlier, my man. They're one of our teams of the week as well. We're super high on Coach Washington's boys. Go back and listen to the program. That, I guess, would have been in the what part of the show was that, John? We talked about Spring Valley.
That was early because that was during the 5A schedule.
We talked about that multiple times.
Go find the 5A part, my guy.
Team of the week.
Over, you can go back and watch it and go check it out. So we did certainly mention the Spring Valley Vikings. Really high on those guys. Happy for them to get a win in week 0, break that long losing streak. Brian says Chesney Eagles win 2 in a row this week. I agree, Brian. I think they win this football game with Broom too. I think the Eagles and Coach Chappell moved to 2-0.
And not a green screen. I wish just a picture.
I love it. I thought that was hilarious. No, it's fun. Like you said, Kevin, I'm excited. Everybody's going to have a game under their belt after this week, so that's exciting to see. Ready to see the results as always, and see the jumps that these teams make. So we'll have a better picture, so we don't have to pick the same teams going forward. We'll have a clearer picture on who's good and who may be not as good as we thought coming into the season.
And we'll still make some bad picks too.
Always.
Part of it. That's part of it. But yeah, really excited for week 1, man. Going to see a lot of great football games across the state. So get out and support the boys. Should be a great weather weekend as well, looks like. So definitely go check that out Friday and get out there and support your local program. But as always, like I mentioned, we'll be back next Tuesday, next preview show, 7:15 here on Facebook and YouTube. For John Epps, Jerel Hendricks, I'm Kevin Thomas. This has been our week 1 preview show here on Movin the Chains, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Get ready for the ultimate South Carolina high school football experience with Movin the Chains. From previews to recaps, we've got you covered. Dive into our expert preview shows, predicting winners and sharing insights. Then join us post-game for the thrilling recaps, exclusive interviews, and highlights you won't find anywhere else. Plus, connect with fellow fans on our Friday Night Spaces on Twitter/X. No one covers South Carolina high school football like us. Join us at Movin Chains on all social media platforms and visit movinchains.com today.